Most people have lost their minds. They don't own their thinking, they don't own their thoughts. Their mind is run by algorithms. This is the problem that we're facing today in the modern society. And with this knowledge, it's quite easy to see why most traders fail because they are not in control. They have no awareness of anything. And in this video, I'm going to go through 3 key hacks to bring you back to your center so that you can become more aware of yourself and the markets. And because of that, you're going to start to improve in your trading just with these simple hacks. So make sure you watch this to the end. But before we get started, I want you to go ahead and like and subscribe and drop a comment below because this is going to help boost the algorithm and get good messages like this out to more people like you. So I would appreciate that. Let's get started. So before we dive deep into this topic, you have to understand that awareness comes in 2 forms, right? There is self-awareness, and then there is situational awareness. So that's market awareness. So with self-awareness, this is being aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. So most people, if you look around today, have no self-awareness. They talk over other people at dinners and conversations. They don't listen, or they scroll for hours and they waste time, or they have no discipline and they eat junk food, they skip workouts, they do all these bad habits and they have no self-awareness. And with traders, they just keep losing trades. They take bad trades without any self-awareness. So that's the self-awareness part. And then there is situational awareness, which is your environment. And in terms of trading, that's things like the news, your market structure, things like where your entries could possibly happen within the week, within the day. Also, things like where liquidity could be. You need to know where liquidity is. You need to know where the draw on liquidity is going. So where price is most likely to go. That's being externally aware. So there's internal and external awareness. So I just wanted to make that clear. Mostly in this video, we're going to talk about internal awareness because I think that internal awareness is extremely important because it's the thing that's going to separate you from the masses, from the struggling traders, because you have to own your mind. You have to have awareness, and you cannot succeed in this game by being like everyone else, like having bad habits like other people, right? So you have to call yourself out. And that's what this video is all about. So let's get started. The first one is that if you want to increase your self-awareness, you're going to have to start journaling your excuses. So if you took a loss, you have to be honest with yourself, right? And journal your excuses. Try it for a week. Instead of journaling your trades, journal your excuses. So you might say, oh, well, there was red news on the day and the market spiked and took me out, right? That's an excuse where you should have actually known better and waited to enter after the news, right? So there's no excuse there, but you have to call that one out. Or there's other excuses like fear of missing out. So, oh, I only have one setup opportunity this week, so I need to get this trade. So that's why I entered early, because I was afraid of missing out on the trade. And then if I missed out, I might not get another setup for another week or two, right? That's a legitimate excuse. So you have to get into the habit of journaling your excuse, because once you do this on paper, where you are journaling your emotions, so you journal your emotions before, during, and after the trade, and also you have a section for your excuses, right? you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to become more self-aware of your coping mechanisms, right? The lies that you tell yourself, right? The easy way out. It's never you. It's always something else, right? You're going to start to see patterns that are quite obvious but not obvious to you from the beginning, right? And then you're going to start to understand what you need to fix about yourself when you start seeing these things, right? So that's the first one, is to journal your excuses, right? Because you cannot put excuses into your P&L, into your bank account. Excuses don't pay bills, right? So you got to get rid of your excuses and you got to journal that, right? So that's number one. Number two is you got to catch yourself when you want to switch strategies, right? So now you've taken a couple of losses, right? And now your mind's playing tricks on you, right? And it's saying, this is your ego trying to protect itself and say things like, oh, it's the strategy that is not good. Do you understand? You have to switch strategies now, right? Where, first of all, you need to know that the strategy works. You have to believe and absolutely know that the strategy works by doing the back test and by seeing your mentor showing payouts and P&L and actually showing and proving that it works. Once you have that belief, half of the battle is already won, right? You're already in a good place, right? So you have to catch yourself out when you have this urge to switch, right? Why are you switching? Do you even know you're switching? Are you aware that you're switching? Are you switching for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? You have to be aware of this, right? Because if you're not aware of this, and most traders are not aware of this, they just switch blindly, right? They hop from one strategy to the next, to the next, to the next, one course to another course. They change mentors, and they do this without even knowing, right? And if you're doing it this in this way without knowing, without being aware, you can go on forever. Do you understand? It's a vicious cycle. It's a spiral. So if you're switching strategies, you have to have a really, 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 really good reason why. Do you understand? The most successful traders never switch strategies. They have one strategy, and it's very difficult for them to change their minds, right? You have to be hard-headed. In trading, you have to be able to make decisions quickly and then don't change your decisions. You stick to your decision, right? You can't be hesitating and switching and doubting your decisions and changing every half an hour or every hour. Do you understand? Once you make a decision, you stick to it, right? And that's the same with your strategy. Once you choose your strategy, you stick to it, right? And in the long term, it's going to serve you, right? I'll give you an example. Henry Ford, when they came out with the first Model T, right? They only had one car in production and they didn't switch. They had many opportunities to upgrade and change and build new cars and have new models, but they didn't, right? And they stubbornly stayed with the Model T for a long time. I think it was more than 10 years. And because of that, they got so good at producing the car over and over again that it made the company so much money. Do you understand? Rather than making a couple of cars kind of well and then adding more cars to the production line and then more stress and more this and more that and then not really doing good at anything, not mastering any single thing, and then diluting themselves. The point I'm making is that you make decisions quickly and you stick to them, and it's very hard for you to change your decisions after you've made your mind up. You have to be able to make decisions. That's in life, in trading, right? If you cannot make a decision and stick to it, you're a snowflake, right? And I know you're not a snowflake, right? That's why you're here. But everybody else is just jumping around. Oh, they want to watch this video. They want to watch that video. They're going with this TikTok, that TikTok. They're doing this. They're going to go there. They're going to eat this. They're going to change there. They're going to date this person. And now they're going to see this person. They have no consistency. So this is important. Stop switching. Stick to one thing and understand that it's your ego that is trying to protect you, which is what makes you want to switch, because you don't want to blame yourself. You don't want to stay and fight. You don't want to stay and work out why you took a loss. You would rather start again and go and find a new strategy and blame the strategy than blame yourself, right? So that also goes into journaling your excuses. Put that on your journal. Number 3 is you need to have awareness, immediate awareness of your emotions, right? So if you are revenge trading, you need to call yourself out really quick. You have to be aware of it, right? You have to, first of all, understand all the types of emotions that you could go through. So there's FOMO, there's fear, there's greed, there's revenge, right? You have to, first of all, have awareness that these things exist, these emotions are real. And then once you have this, one way you can do it is to put post-its on your monitor, right? So that you don't forget, so that you always see it. And then on the post-it, you can write one FOMO, and then on another one, you can put revenge trading. And then you can ask yourself on the post-its, you can write questions. Am I feeling fear right now? Am I impatient? Am I feeling FOMO? Why am I taking this trade? The best traders are consistently self-aware of their emotions. They're always checking, because trading is your emotions. Basically, your emotions are things that will make you make decisions. And if you're not aware of them, then you could make bad decisions on the wrong emotion, right? So you have to have constant emotional awareness, right? Just call yourself out. And then when you have these emotions, you also need a way to work on the emotions. You have to have a system in place, right, to fix the emotions. And that's what my program, the Inner Edge Pro, is all about, right? We have systems and things like that in place so that you can adjust and fix your emotions as they bubble up, as they come, right? Because if you are in a revenge mode and you have this subconscious programming that is off, that is not doing you any favors from whatever childhood trauma or whatever programming that you had that's negative, right? You're not going to be able to fight the revenge, right? You're going to want to get back at the market, right? Knowing about it is is just half the battle, right? Just because you know that you're revenge trading, or just because you know that you're FOMOing, right, doesn't mean that you're not going to do it. You're still going to do it because you're wired, right? There is some internal programming going on that is subconsciously working against you. It's sabotaging you, and you can't help yourself. You don't know what to do. You can't even hold your trades, and you don't know why. It's because you have this internal programming. So that's the first link in the description if you want to work on that. And I highly recommend it. So those are the 3 core ways to master your mind, right? So number 1 was to journal your excuses. Number 2 is catch yourself when you want to switch your strategies. And number 3 is to constantly call yourself out on your emotions, right? Do it there and then in real time, on the go, right? You have to not after the event. Do it then and there, right? This is important. Okay. If you're new to my channel, go ahead, like and subscribe, drop a comment below. Let me know what kind of emotions you're struggling with and whatever's holding you back. I would be interested to know. Until next time, you're on your own. Take care now. Bye.